Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
Yep.
It's a true factual statement.
Indeed.
And we are going live for a Super Bowl watch party at the same time as the Super Bowl.
Funnily enough.
Well planned that.
Yep. So keep your eye out for that. We would love to see everyone there. When we went live for the World Cup USA-England game, it was great.
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah,
Got
good laugh.
Loads of people viewing, and it was a good laugh, yeah.
So is it going to be
enjoyed it, so.
49ers against Kansas City, is it?
No.
Could be.
No, it's going to be the Eagles. So keep your eye out for that. Put it in your diary. Do whatever people do. And we hope to see you there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right then, why US military's largest helicopter is hard to get out of control? Is that even a sentence? Does that make any sense? Am I being stupid there?
Because it's got a German flag on it.
Why US military's largest helicopter is hard to get out of control?
Yeah.
Hard to...
Does that mean hard to...
It's going to have loads of
control.
stabilisation sort of...
It's difficult to crash it sort of thing, because it's... I don't know, yeah.
Why you can't crash big helicopters, it should be called.
Chopper. Chopper's got to be in there.
Yeah, why you can't crash the US military's biggest chopper. There you go. Let's do it. I don't know what it is, but let's do it.
Let's have a look.
Helicopter to do 360-degree turns while continuing to move straight on its track challenges even the most seasoned pilots. A maneuver like this requires the pilot to simultaneously adjust multiple controls with their hands and feet in order to fine-tune the amount and direction of thrust generated by the main and tail rotors. But in this case, the only adjustment the pilot has to do is to step on the yaw control pedal. That's because the US military's largest and most powerful helicopter, the CH-53K King Stallion, is the first and only heavy-lift helicopter that has fly-by-wire controls. More on that later, but in addition to this capability, the King Stallion can provide significantly more lift capability compared to its predecessor, the CH-53E Super Stallion. And you gotta see this. During its test phase, the King lifted progressively heavier payloads. Here is a 4,000-pound concrete block being hooked up, which the helicopter could easily pick up. Then an external payload of just under 12,000 pounds was lifted, and after some hovering was jettisoned. But this next test really showcases the power of the King Stallion. In February of 2018, the CH-53K successfully lifted 35,000 pounds. That's 3 times what the Super Stallion could lift. You can tell it's heavy by comparing the angle of the rotor blades with and without the heavy weight. It's really pulling on the chopper. Just like its predecessor, the King has 3 engines.
No, never seen that before.
No.
I didn't either, to be fair.
No. It's just educational.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know what I expected.
You come to us for education.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny as well, when it drops it before, you'd expect it to maybe shoot up a little bit, but it's pretty stable, wasn't it? But
I suppose probably the software that goes into these things is insane, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
But each engine has a whopping 7,500 shaft horsepower, an increase of over 70% compared to the...
It's just one word. Come on, get it out of your system.
Shaft horsepower there. Come on. No, okay.
Is that what you've got, Dave?
Half.
Super Stallion. This allows the King to easily transport a JLTV or other armored vehicles like the LAV-25, something that would be considered an accomplishment if the Super Stallion did it. In September of 2021, a US Navy MH-60 helicopter crashed near Bishop, California. The downed helicopter weighed 12,200 pounds, but having crashed at an altitude of approximately 12,000 feet above sea level made the recovery operation challenging. But not challenging enough for the King Stallion, which was only 2 months into its initial operational testing at VMX-1 and had no issues lifting and delivering the damaged MH-60 safely. The King Stallion has the largest and most advanced rotor blades that its manufacturer, Sikorsky, has ever produced.
Beast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, these next-generation composite main rotor blades can fold and unfold automatically, so that the CH-53K can fit inside the hangar of amphibious assault ships. After all, the King Stallion is here to replace the Super Stallion. But the King Stallion can be transported anywhere in the world since it's strategic lift certified for the C-17 Globemaster and the C-5 Galaxy. That said, the King Stallion doesn't fit inside the C-17 Globemaster cargo aircraft, at least not in one piece. The helicopter needs to be partially disassembled, where the main rotor components are loaded separately from the rest of the King Stallion. This particular C-17 transported the CH-53K to Berlin Air Show in June of 2022, where the helicopter performed the maneuver that we saw at the beginning, called the pirouette. Pirouette is actually...
It looks like nothing, doesn't it? Just as a move.
Yeah.
It's so controlled, but it's probably, without that pedal he was talking about, almost impossible.
Yeah.
actually the name of this simple turn in ballet, and also in figure skating. The King Stallion can do the pirouettes with ease, thanks to Fly-by-Wire, the sponsor of... I'm kidding, there is no sponsor, just checking your reflexes, and they look good. Fly-by-wire has been used in fixed-wing aircraft for quite some time, but they are not yet common in helicopters. So what is this fly-by-wire exactly? In traditional airplanes, the pilot moves mechanical levers to operate a hydraulic control system, which is made up of many parts located across the aircraft. But a fly-by-wire system gets rid of all those mechanical components. Instead, the pilot's control inputs are interpreted by the flight computer, which calculates the control surface positions required to achieve that outcome. This results in various combinations of rudder, elevator, aileron, and engine controls in different situations using a closed feedback loop. It's a bit like comparing a gramophone, which picks up and amplifies the sound fully mechanically, to a record player, which has replaced most of the in-between mechanics with electronics. Fly-by-wire has many advantages. It benefits engineers since they can take over 400 pounds of mechanical systems out of the helicopter. Remember, the only thing guaranteed about a mechanical system is that it will wear out. Fly-by-wire results in eliminating approximately 370 mechanical parts that no longer require repair or replacement. But its biggest advantage is the reduction of workload from the pilots.
I think it'll get to a point where the pilots are actually using a control pad. You know, like on a computer, because you see drone pilots with almost like a Xbox pad, don't you?
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll ever get to the point where all of these knobs and levers and switches and stuff just aren't needed.
I think it gets to a point where no aircraft like this, military aircraft, will be flown manually. I think it'll all be done remotely.
Yeah, you've moved to that, haven't you? Remote.
Yeah.
But why not? I mean, the things it can do.
Put someone in jeopardy.
You can put screens up there, put pilots in a safe place, and they can see exactly the same as will be in the plane.
Yeah.
So it probably makes sense, doesn't it? I suppose that's the next step with the technology, the way it's going forward, I suppose, in warfare.
I guess it's just how expensive it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you still got to train the pilots, but then the technology might be
true,
very expensive as well.
Yeah.
It'll happen eventually. I'm with you on that, though, I think.
Yeah.
Maneuvering a helicopter on its own is a challenging task, but when helicopter pilots are coming into a landing zone, they become occupied with numerous tasks during their final descent. Landing can be particularly tricky when there is reduced visibility due to sand or dust blowing. According to the pilots who have flown the King Stallion, doing external cargo lifts is much easier when compared to the Super Stallion. Fly-by-wire controls simplify the process by allowing pilots to easily hover in the same spot while the payload is being hooked in. This process typically requires a lot of communication with the team on the ground, since the pilot cannot see what's underneath the helicopter and has to stay still. On top of that, fly-by-wire systems can be designed to protect aircraft in the event of incorrect or inadvertent control inputs from the pilot, which could prevent accidents. Long story short, the fly-by-wire system on the King Stallion allows pilots to focus more on their mission by reducing the mental and physical workload that's usually required to maneuver a helicopter, especially when they need to watch out for enemy threats. The King Stallion has a maximum speed of 200 miles per hour and a range of 530 miles. For extended operation, it can be refueled in flight from a KC-130. It can also refuel from a surface ship while in hover mode, and of course, when on the ground. The CH-53K can also operate at higher altitudes and hotter climates. But for the Marine Corps, transitioning to this $124 million flying machine is not without its challenges. Probably the biggest learning curve will be with maintenance. The King Stallion is a lot more system intensive compared to its predecessor. Anytime a new technology is introduced, there are always unexpected issues. For example, the King Stallion had gas exhaust reingestion problems, which degraded the helicopter's power significantly. And there have been and there will be more issues that will surface and get resolved. This is why, even though the King Stallion reached initial operational capabilities in 2019, it would only reach full operational capability in 2029. In the meantime, Super Stallion pilots would need to be trained in order to transition to flying the King Stallion, which is going to continue the legacy of heavy lift helicopters that the US Marine Corps has been flying for decades. So next time you hear a US Marine yell, 53 kilo, be aware, they are not walking away from the Imperial system and embracing metric. They're just calling their bird.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Technology is absolutely crazy.
Some great pieces of equipment in the military, though, weren't they?
Yeah,
I know we've looked at ships and different aircraft and stuff like that, and the helicopters there. I mean, that just looks like a proper piece of kit, isn't it?
Yeah, that is absolutely talented pilots as well, aren't they? Flying these things, really are.
Just drops down a couple of Humvees, load of guys. They're off, flies
next
off.
one.
You know, it's like anything's possible.
Shoots
isn't it,
at something.
Yeah,
The guy was just shooting in the water.
That looks fun,
that really did look like fun, didn't it?
Yeah. It's an interesting video. I like stuff like that.
Yeah,
especially
really
military hardware. I like looking at it.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? New gear like that. But think, like I say, they think of this stuff all the time, aren't they? You know, you wonder what the next big thing is going to be. Like you say, it could be unmanned helicopters, planes, things like that.
Well, there's a lot of them now already, isn't there? Yeah.
One thing, big slight side issue. Wonder what they're going to do, like years and years down the line, like with fuels and stuff like that. Because obviously, it's all like aircraft fuel at the moment, isn't it? And obviously, it's eventually going to be phased out sort of everywhere. It might be a long time down the road yet, but
I'm not sure the military will phase it out.
No,
I wouldn't even worry about it if I were you, mate. You'd be well gone by then.
No, I'm not worried. To be honest, I'm not worried about it. But no, just thought, with electric cars coming to the fore, if they're thinking about moving on to that in the military in the future.
It's
Greta Thunberg having a moan that the helicopters are flying over to defend them.
Yeah.
In Sweden or wherever they are.
Didn't she just take a private jet to Davos and then a helicopter from the private jet and then a car from there to get to actual Davos? She did.
Sort of thing about Davos.
I
read an article last week about Davos, how it's had a massive influx of prostitutes coming in. Did you read it?
Yeah, I did.
It's interesting read, wasn't it?
What's going on there again?
It's the
World Economic Forum.
I see.
All the most powerful people in the world deciding how they can shape our futures.
Yeah.
And Greta's there.
I see.
Tony Blair's there.
I was going to say, be politicians there as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of them, but it's also like the CEO of Pfizer.
Yeah, they'll all be there. All CEOs, all the global heads will be there.
But yeah, like you said, it's loads of very high class prostitutes have all flown in because it's a lucrative time for them.
It was an interesting article, wasn't it?
It is a side note as well, but did you see Greta getting arrested in Germany?
I did.
No.
It's staged.
Yeah.
What was that for?
Well, it was
supposedly
for protesting.
Right.
But there's some footage come out of her laughing and joking with the cops,
setting the camera up and all that.
Yeah,
really?
They're setting cameras, and then the photographers are telling the cops, "You stop there, let me get this shot," and like going round and.
So it's right. Greta gets arrested, so it gets on the news, etc., etc.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a gun sort of guy who drives the Humvee down in Bench Hill. see what happens.
So, some guy, I saw a video of some guy asking her why she doesn't protest Russian oil or Saudi oil.
Yeah.
And she just started laughing.
Yeah.
That was at Davos. That was a guy following her with a camera and a microphone. And she just does this
I
really.
can tell you why. It won't last long.
Yeah, precisely. Anyway, we digress massively.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.